Hey guys, welcome to Dr. Priyanka's Biology, where we discuss everything from biology to biotechnology. So there was this request from many of the 12th standard students. They said that they find this, molecular basis of inheritance very difficult, and they do not want to learn that for exams, and rather they prefer, skipping that chapter because it is difficult. But I'm here to make it as simple as possible so that you don't need to remember it. Just understand it, just 2 3 slides. So within matter of 5 minutes, your entire this concept should be clear. So today I'm here to make your DNA replication as easy as possible. So let's get started with DNA replication made super easy. So let's start. So first of all, let us understand the term replication. I have made a separate video where I have explained DNA replication and the experimental proof for its semi-conservative nature. So whenever you want to study this, please go through both the videos so it will be very beneficial for you so that you can understand it as much faster as possible. So DNA replication. So first of all, this term replication meaning formation of a copy. So in DNA replication, there is a copy or a replica look-alike of the DNA is being formed. So this process occurs with the help of certain catalysts. So these catalysts are called as enzymes. So there are different enzymes involved in this particular process. So now, before we start, I would like to introduce certain terms so that the further process becomes even more easier. Now, as we all know and we have studied previously, that DNA is having two strands, right? The one is having the 5 prime direction, 5 prime 3 prime direction, and second one is having the 3 prime 5 prime direction, right? So this is giving it an anti-parallel nature, or it is having the opposite polarity, right? So this is the point one that you have to remember throughout this particular process, okay? That DNA is having both the two strands with different polarities go in the opposite direction. So that means there will be this process happening simultaneously in both the direction, right? So this is what you have to remember. So if you have seen a zipper, okay, so when you open and close the zipper, the two strands, they work together, right? So when you pull it up towards one side, it will close. When you pull it down, it will open, right? So similar kind of concept occurs over here. So now we all know, as I have explained in the previous videos, that DNA is having a semi-conservative nature of replication. So we know that there are two strands involved over here, and this original strand will be called as the parental DNA because it is the parent. Okay, it is the parental DNA. And the outcome or the copy that would be formed using the both the strands of DNA, they are called as the daughter DNA or the daughter strands. Okay, they are called as the daughter DNA. So original is the parent DNA that is going to act as a template to provide a template, and the newly synthesized DNA are called as the daughter DNA. So these terms need to be remembered. Fine. All right. So this DNA, now we know that it is a long molecule, right? And it cannot be opened at once. So let us compare it to a very simple situation. If you want to stitch something or if you are making some crochet, you are not going to open the entire bundle of thread, right? Or you will take only what is required, and as and when you need, you are going to open it. Why do you do that? Because just imagine that you have opened the entire roll of that thread, it will get entangled or it will make your process very difficult. Sometimes knots come in between. So what you are going to do is you are going to open the thread ball like simple, like step by step, like whatever is required, you are going to open it, you are going to continue with your crochet and then again open it further so that there is less of confusion and the process becomes easy and you don't have to put in lot of efforts. Same thing occurs in your DNA replication. So if you consider DNA as the thread that you are using for making crochet, okay? So here also we are not supposed to open the entire length of DNA. So just imagine now this is your DNA, like it is wound. So for DNA replication we have to open it, right? So if you open the entire strand of DNA, it is going to cause confusions because there may be mistakes in between, right? So your DNA replication is going to occur in small pockets, okay? That one by one, it will get over. So that is what happens in case of your DNA replication because it is very extensively long molecule. It has to replication has to occur in small patches. So this is point number one. And now we know that since there are two strands involved over here, both are having different polarities. One is 3 prime, 5 prime, second one is 5 prime, 3 prime. So when it is opening, there will be two sorts of DNA, two will be formed, right? Here we have two strands over here, and now complementary strands which will come into picture here, they will be newly synthesized. So that means we know already one parental information is there. Second one is synthesized. That means one strand is conserved and second one is new. So it makes it semi-conservative. So all these things are already explained in a separate video. Okay. So that you can always refer. I will leave the information regarding that video in the comments or in the description. So we know that it is semi-conservative. Now we know that one strand is parental and second one is newly synthesized. That is making it semi-conservative. Then this whole experiment to prove the semi-conservative nature of DNA replication was proposed and proved by Michelson and Stahl. So this is again dealt in a separate video. I will leave the information. Then here coming back to certain points now that we have to remember here. Okay. Now the main enzyme that is involved over here is the DNA dependent DNA polymerase. So DNA dependent because it is completely dependent on the DNA template, the parental DNA. So with the help of the parental DNA only it can produce the copies. So that's the reason it is DNA dependent DNA polymerase. So apart from this, there are many other enzymes, but in your NCERT syllabus, only two have been mentioned as far as DNA replication is concerned. But I will mention some so that you can just remember it for your information. Fine. So now this DNA dependent DNA polymerase. So it is highly efficient enzyme. So why I am saying it is highly efficient? Because it can replicate the entire length of DNA within short duration. So that makes it highly efficient. Okay, a very good candidate. So for example, if you take E. coli, okay, so E. coli, so it is said that like almost 4.6 into 10 raised to 6 base pairs can be replicated within 18 minutes. So if we calculate on an average, say 2000 base pairs can be replicated per second. So you can see the speed. Okay, it is very efficient. Secondly, this process has to occur in a very accurate manner. It should be in very accurate manner because it is DNA replication, right? So any mistake, any fault in this DNA replication, it is going to cause mutations, right? Again, let's go back to the example of crochet. So if there is any mistake while making the crochet, okay, it is going to change the design, right? So we are not interested in any change in design. The design has to occur as given, okay, as decided. Same thing with your replication. It has to occur in a very precise manner. Zero mistakes will be tolerated, okay, because we are not interested in any sort of mutation. So this is the thing that we have to remember here. So next thing is, now, there are certain more things here involved that the DNTPs, that is the deoxyribonucleotide triphosphates. Now these DNTPs, they have a dual purpose. They are going to act as a substrate also, that is going to add nucleotides to the growing DNA replication structure, and also just like your ATP, it is going to act like an energy provider, the source of energy. So DNTPs are having two functions, dual function. One is that they act as a substrate, and secondly they are the energy currency, right? Now here another thing, as I have explained you before, that the entire length of the DNA cannot be opened at once, because it is going to lead to lot of confusions and mistakes. So it is going to occur in small patches or small fragments. Okay. And it is not going to occur at any given random point. So it has to occur at a particular point called as the replication fork, and a sequence called as the origin of replication, commonly called as the ORI. Okay, the origin of replication. So if you see this particular diagram, okay, so it is going to occur over here. So this is called as the replication fork, and that will be your origin of replication. So that is going to be the point. So here I have marked here origin. So that is the point where your DNA replication is going to occur. So this is another prerequisite for your DNA replication, is that it should have the origin of replication and formation of replication forks. Now this replication fork, as we have seen the diagram, okay, it makes two openings, right? So it opens the two strands. So if you see this diagram here, so it looks more like a zip, isn't it? This is looking more like a zip. So this is also working like a same zip only. So now there are two things involved here, that when it is opening the DNA strand, okay, when the replication fork is opening the DNA strand, it is producing two strands. So one is having the 5 prime 3 prime polarity, and second one is having the 3 prime 5 prime polarity, right? So if you see here, this is the 5 prime 3 prime polarity, and the opposite is having the 3 prime 5 prime. Okay. Now again we have to remember that very important feature of our DNA dependent DNA polymerase is that it will work only in one direction, that is the 5 prime 3 prime direction. So it is going to act only in one direction, just like in case of your zip. That zip is going to open only in one direction, right? Second direction is for closing. So it can work only in one direction. Same way your DNA dependent DNA polymerase. So its direction is 5 prime 3 prime. Okay. So when the replication fork is opening, right? So it is creating two types of strands. So the one with 3 prime 5 prime is called the continuous strand. So now this is the tricky part. Not tricky, but you have to remember this. So I will tell you why it is continuous and discontinuous. And secondly, why it is leading strand and lagging strand. So let's go to this picture first. So here I will explain you why it is leading and lagging. So when it is opening, we have two strands formed. One is with the 3 prime 5 prime direction, and secondly is with the 5 prime 3 prime direction. Fine. So now here DNA dependent DNA polymerase enzyme, we know it is going to work only in one direction, that is the 5 prime 3 prime direction. So we have two strands, one with the 3 prime 5 prime and second one is in the 5 prime 3 prime. So suppose now let us consider your DNA polymerase is stalled over here. So now this particular is 3 prime 5 prime, and this strand is, this one is 5 prime 3 prime. Now we know that this DNA dependent DNA polymerase, it can add DNTPs only to the 3 prime direction. It will add only to the 3 prime direction. So when it is adding to 3 prime 5 prime direction, so let us take this strand, that is the 3 prime and 5 prime, this particular strand. So it is easy for it because here this side it is going to be 3 prime. The growing side is towards the 3 prime, right? So it will be easy for this particular enzyme to keep on adding the DNTPs in the growing manner, right? As it is going very smoothly. So here it becomes a leading strand because it is occurring in a very easy manner or continuous manner. It can keep on adding the DNTPs. Whereas the problem is occurring over here. Okay, the problem is on the opposite side, that is the side or the strand with the polarity, that is the 5 prime 3 prime. Now here the problem is, now your DNA polymerase is present over here, but it has to add the DNTPs towards this point, that is the 3 prime, right? But it is opposite. So this side is open, right? So it is always easier to add your DNTPs to the side which is open. But here to reach the 3 prime direction, okay, it has to still wait, okay, it has to still wait so that this part, okay, this part has to open. Then only it will reach the 3 prime direction. So this thing occurs in a discontinuous manner so that, okay, the DNA polymerase will reach over here. Okay, it has to stop. Then again this part has to open. Then again it will add DNTPs. Further again it has to stop because the next part of the DNA has to open. So it is like, dhakka maar kind of thing. So it will push. Okay, it will add DNTPs. Then after some time again उसकी गाड़ी अटक जाएगी. Again उसको धक्का मारना है. Again it will open. So again it will add DNTPs. Again dhakka maar. So it is like, your 5 prime 3 prime strand, it is going to like, झुक झुक गाड़ी, और उसको रुक रुक के चलने वाली गाड़ी है. So it is lagging strand. Understood why it is the leading strand and lagging strand? The logic is, it is like very common sense, right? The thing that is open, already open, it is very easy. Okay, let's take one example. Say there are 5 chairs. They are empty. So you can come and sit wherever you want. But once that position is occupied, you cannot come and sit. You have to wait till the new chairs have been added or your sitting arrangement has been done. So same thing occurs in your DNA replication. So the reason why we have two types of strands, that is leading strand and lagging strand, that is because of the action of DNA polymerase, the DNA dependent DNA polymerase, because it works only in one direction, that is the 5 prime 3 prime directions. That means it has to add the DNTPs only in the 3 prime direction. So that is the reason the strand, that is your 3 prime 5 prime, becomes the leading strand, and the opposite strand, that is the 5 prime 3 prime, becomes the lagging strand. So here your DNA replication is going to occur in two different ways on both the strands. So on leading strand, because it is a continuous manner, your DNTPs are added without any problem. Here it becomes continuous replication. Okay, and here because it is ruk ruk ke chalne wali gaadi, your DNA replication is discontinuous. So here it will occur in patches, right? So I will introduce some more enzymes over here, though they are not mentioned in your syllabus, but still it is always better to understand and it will lead to less of confusions. Okay. Now for that I will take you to this particular diagram. So now in this diagram, if you see, there are some more names involved over here. So let me just zoom it for you. Okay. So I guess you are able to see it more properly. So now this enzyme that you see, topoisomerase. Now we know that DNA is highly coiled, right? It is highly coiled. So this topoisomerase, what it will do is it will open up, right? It is going to open or unwind the DNA. We have this DNA, right? So it is going to, topoisomerase is slowly going to open it. Now once it is opened, and we know both these strands, they are complementary to each other. So there is a very high chance that again they will coil back, or again they will form the complementary base pairs. So there should be something that is going to stop this. So that work is done by the enzyme, that is helicase. Okay, the enzyme helicase is going to stop the coiling. So that is the work of helicase. Topoisomerase is going to open, helicase is going to stop the coiling or formation of the complementary base pairs of the parental strand. So once the lagging strand and leading strand are open, DNA polymerase, DNA dependent DNA polymerase, they will start working. They will continuously add the DNTPs onto the leading strands, and here on the lagging strands, they are going to add the DNTPs in form of small patches, right? Now here, since the DNTPs are added in continuous manner, the formation of the daughter strand and daughter DNA becomes very easy. But here, since they are short, or since here on the lagging strands, the DNTPs are added discontinuously in form of short strands, and these strands, discontinuous strands, are called as the Okazaki fragments. Okay, they are called as the Okazaki fragments. These Okazaki fragments, okay, again they need to be attached, right, or they need to be joined. So that is done with the help of enzyme primase and ligase. So primase is going to form like the primer. They are going to add primers here. It is going to read this DNA, and whatever has been synthesized, that will be joined with the help of your DNA ligase. So again there will be formation of a daughter DNA on the lagging strand also and the leading strand also. So this entire process that we have seen here, okay. Now there are two things involved over here. One is that we have already seen that your DNA replication, it is a semi-conservative manner. And secondly, now we have seen how it works on the lagging strand and the leading strand. So on the leading strand, it is continuous, and whereas on the lagging strand, it is discontinuous. But to sum it up or put it together, it occurs in a semi-discontinuous manner. It is neither continuous, neither discontinuous. That means it is semi-discontinuous manner. So, your DNA replication is semi-conservative, semi-discontinuous model of replication. So this you have to remember. So a quick revision if we do, we know that DNA replication is semi-conservative in nature. It was proved by Meselson and Stahl using ammonium chloride, and based on the differences in density, okay, they defined or they proved the semi-conservative nature. Then we know that the main enzymes involved over here, and as mentioned in your syllabus, they are DNA dependent DNA polymerase and ligase. This enzyme is highly efficient, okay, it is highly accurate, because there should be no confusion, because it will lead to, or mistakes, it will lead to mutations. Then DNTPs, they have dual nature or dual purpose. One is that they act as a substrate and they act as a energy currency, and this entire process or the entire length of DNA cannot be opened at once, so it occurs in small fragments, and it occurs at the origin of replication or the ori. It leads to formation of the replication fork, okay, that is going to divide the strands, parental strand, into two, that is the leading strand and the lagging strand. 3 prime 5 prime direction, or 3 prime 5 prime strand, it occurs, DNA replication occurs in a continuous manner, whereas on the 5 prime 3 prime direction or strand, it will occur in continuous manner, right? So 5 prime 3 prime is discontinuous and 3 prime 5 prime is continuous. Then your DNA dependent DNA polymerase occurs, or it works only in one direction, that is 5 prime 3 prime direction. So this entire process can be summed up as semi-conservative, semi-discontinuous model of DNA replication. So guys, I have made it, or I have tried to make it as simple as possible. Just go through both the videos. I have tried to make it as easy as possible. Just remember why it is leading, why it is lagging. Entire process will be very easy to understand, because that's the only point where you will have the confusion. Okay, so this point, if you understand, your whole thing is over. Whole thing is very easy. So I will leave the link for the other video in the description of box. So please go through it. Until then, keep studying, keep smiling, like and share our videos, and subscribe to my channel. So if you have some more doubts and difficulties in understanding any concept related to biology, please get connected to us. So till then, thank you and bye bye.